5.5 years ago, I lost my athletic career, and I also lost a version of myself. I didn't just lose my sport, I lost my entire identity. And looking back now, I wish someone would have told me the things that I'm about to tell you. And maybe, just maybe, most likely, I would have healed a lot sooner as well. Just a brief background here very quickly. I loved and adored what I did. I also had a lot of, personal reasons for doing my sport initially. And so not only was there a lot of love and admiration for my sport and what I did within my sport, but there was also very strong reasoning behind why I was doing it. And one of the reasons why, which I haven't opened up on here about and told anyone on YouTube yet, is because it provided me with a better life. There were a lot of things within the lifestyle that of an athlete, that of which it provided me, that were very, very important to me. And so when I lost my career, not only did I lose my sense of self and my identity, but I lost the thing that was providing me with a better life as well. And, I tried my best to cope with it all and just push through it and just, move on. But all of that really was just the suppression of emotions. And, it took me years and years and years to realize that, unfortunately. So that's one thing you can take away already. But the second thing is, I now look back and I realize that was me not being courageous. And one of the most courageous things I've ever done was be truthful with myself, not put a mask on and be like, you know what, I'm not okay. I can't keep living like this. Nonetheless, back to the core message, here's what I would have done differently. Number one, I would have instantly left environments that were dimming me. You see, you can't heal in a place that is pushing you down. I also stayed in, the areas that reminded me of who I used to be, not of who I was becoming. And that incredibly affected me in a negative manner because remember how I said I did my sport not only because I loved it, but there was also a huge reasoning of why. Why did I do it? Because it provided me with a better life. So when I lost my sport, I lost that better lifestyle. And what I came back to was what I was trying to run away from in the beginning, And so not only was my environment dimming me in many ways, it also was constantly reminding me of who I was before I even took my sport professionally. And so it was like the biggest block ever. So you really cannot heal in the wrong environment. You cannot heal in an environment where people are pulling you down, pushing you down, but you also can't heal in an environment where the environment itself, even the city, is reminding you of who you used to be rather than who are you becoming. The second thing I wouldn't have done was made huge life decisions whilst I still was lost. As in, I was lost within my own self. I didn't really know who I was. A lot of people don't know, but I actually tried to become a doctor. Not because I wanted to actually be a doctor, because I was so desperate to still prove my worth, to still prove my value to a lot of people, but very specific people as well that come to mind right now. And this decision, which not only was a huge investment of money and a huge amount of tireless work as well, this huge life decision, it's a huge decision to go to university and study all of these years and incredibly difficult material. Mind you, I had to do a year 11 and 12 course in 7 months without touching a textbook for the past 7 years and get all of these great grades to even get into the university in the first place. This decision, it came from fear. It did not come from a sense of clarity. Oh, this is what I should do. So upon reflection, I would not make these huge life decisions and huge investments in money and time as well, and energy when I was still lost. Number 3, I would have accepted the grief rather than deny it. There's different stages of grief, but if you are denying grief even as a whole, then you are keeping yourself stuck in the pain. Remember, suppressed emotions, they become psychological symptoms, whereas expressed emotions become wisdom. For a very, very, very long time, I pretended I was fine. But ignoring grief doesn't make it go away. It actually just makes it deeper and more secure within your own physiology. It keeps it deeper and it buries it deeper, and therefore it's even harder to dig out and harder to overcome in the future. Number 4, I would have told myself that it's okay to feel this way. Whatever I was feeling, I would have constantly reminded myself that it is okay to feel like that. I didn't allow a lot of my feelings. And I also had a very bad perspective towards them. Basically, my inner critic would speak to me and say, you shouldn't feel that, and that isn't allowed. I was my hardest and harshest critic, and I was as an athlete as well. And chances are you might be as well, or at least you were when you were an athlete. I judged absolutely every emotion and absolutely every fear. You see, how are you meant to heal when you don't even like yourself? And I can see where all of this self-critic got really ingrained. Part of it was environmental from my childhood, but also a lot of it was like sporting wise. You know, you get told some pretty harsh things, and therefore you always think that you're not worthy, you're not deserving, that you were a terrible athlete, even though you were probably really great. And therefore you learn to speak to yourself in a very harsh manner. And how are you meant to heal you, who is the very person who doesn't like themselves and doesn't allow themselves to feel things and doesn't tell themselves that it's okay to feel this way? Number 5 is I would have been courageous enough to find my community, and the right community. You see, I felt so incredibly alone. I felt like no one understood the identity loss. None of my other athletic teammates had lost their career or chosen to retire at that time, and still all of the ones I know of and have deep connections with are still doing the athletic professionalism. I'm the only one who isn't. And so I felt incredibly alone. And even some of the psychologists I talked to, I felt like they just didn't get it because they weren't an ex-professional athlete anyway. They just didn't get it. And so I didn't have not only a community, but I didn't have anyone who firstly got it, and secondly, I felt like I could open up to. But eventually, when I had the courageousness to talk to people who were going through exactly what I was going through, even though they were from different athletic fields, then I felt a lot less alone and I felt a lot more understood. I very quickly realized that I wasn't broken, okay? I was just transitioning. Transitioning from being an athlete to the life after an athlete is a huge, tremendous transition. But it's also very possible to transition if you get the right help. Number 6 is I would have let myself rest. You see, I worked 50 plus hours a week to outrun all of the sadness, distract myself from all of the negative emotions, to feel productive, to feel like I was still worthy of something, and to kind of feel good about myself when really all I was doing was just suppressing emotions. What I really needed was a holiday and space and time to heal. And I didn't allow myself to have a holiday or simply the space and time to feel, to breathe, to heal, because I was so caught up in the next move, which was kind of 2 things: education, so university, and my academic achievements, and secondly was income, so financial income, financial security, because again, I was so focused on let's build a good life for yourself again, because again, to reinstate, when I lost my career, I came back to what I kind of was running away from in the beginning, and that was very uncomfortable. And number 7 is I would have reminded myself that I am the divine creator of my life. You see, if I created discipline, drive, fire to be a successful athlete, then I can create discipline, drive, and fire to succeed in something else in my life. If I created such a high level of success in my athletic field, then what's to say that I can't do anything else? You see, you can create anything. You are so much more capable than you even realize, because most likely the inner critic and all of these negative beliefs and negative way you talk to yourself literally puts on these glasses or sunglasses where you can't even see how capable you are. So if no one has ever told you, you truly can create anything. This isn't BS. You are the divine creator of your life. It's truly not over. It's simply a new chapter. Now, there are 3 more things that I would do that we will get to, but to break it up a little bit, there was a true turning point for me. You see, once I slowed down and I truly accepted where I was and I got really real about the pain, that's when the healing actually began. And interestingly enough, all of these reflections became kind of like the blueprint of not only how I got to know myself, but also what my next chapter was in terms of a purpose. Moving on, number 8 is I would have reconnected with my body a lot sooner. And what I mean by reconnecting with my body in a lot of different ways. See, after I lost my sport, I kind of treated my body like a machine that failed me. But you see, my body hadn't failed me. It was telling me to slow down. It was telling me that you can no longer withstand the ridiculous severity of the pain that you're pushing through. Like, my body genuinely actually started not to work in a very simplistic ways that it usually should work, despite my mental grit. And it was the gentle movement, the yoga, the stretching, the swimming in the ocean that actually began to heal me. And what I mean by heal in this concept is, I mean, it started to heal me in a sense of trusting my body again, and also loving and appreciating my body and not seeing it as this machine that, you know, failed me. Number 9 is I would have journaled every single day when I didn't know what to say and I didn't even know how to express in my own mind how I felt or what was kind of going on. You see, there were many mornings on repeat for years actually, where I woke up and my head was really loud, but my heart was numb. But writing one very messy sentence a day, it really did help clear the fog in my mind, and it lessened the numbness in my heart. And eventually this journal became like a mirror, and it wasn't just one sentence. It started to become paragraphs and then like little essays. But in a very good way. The journal even started to become not only my mirror, but then it also became my map. And it was also a place where I could reflect on like how far I have come and a lot of the realizations I was having. And it opened up what was in my heart and it quieted down the noise in my mind. Number 10 is I would have redefined what success meant to me instantly, honestly, if I knew about that concept. A lot of these things I just didn't know about, and most likely the story is, you know, the same for you, and it doesn't mean that you're dumb or you're not educated or you're lost, or, you know, it's simply a lot of things I talk about, I truly do believe they're just not talked about, which is why people they're not even aware of the things that are going on. Back to success, I thought success was about, you know, medals, trophies. Even after retirement, I thought success was like about money, or about like education and how smart you were. And unbeknownst to me, I also had this athletic ego still in me where status mattered as well. So part of the reason for me pursuing medicine at university to become a doctor was also like the status that being a doctor pulls alongside it, you know? If you think like a doctor or a lawyer, you start to think of these very like per se high value people. But the thing is, what you do is not who you are, and what you do does not define your success in any way, shape or form. And it's very funny that I express this to the camera, because a lot of people actually that I met throughout my lifetime after I ended my career in sport, they actually would would always say, oh, you're so like humble, and you know, I never used to talk about my ballet career, and people who didn't know me for that, therefore, a lot of the time wouldn't even ever know. And so it wasn't necessarily something that I spoke out loud about, but it was definitely a thought process I had in my mind where status equals success, okay? Like in the back of my mind, I saw my ballet career as a success to a certain degree till it ended because of, oh, it's so out of the norm and you were so elite, you know? And therefore I took that idea of status into what success meant into life after sport, like academia or money, and like academic or how smart you are or how much money you make is also with reference to your status, which definitely is not the opinion I have today. Success to me nowadays is peace. Like everyone I know of, at the end of the day, they just want peace, right? Peace is actually not only quite hard to get, but when you truly want peace for yourself and peace for others, it's almost like the idea of what success even isn't even a thing anymore. It's like a word that you've taken out of the dictionary. Peace is, you know, presence. And when you realize like majority of people, even like people who have done the wrong thing, even people who have done the wrong thing, or, you know, maybe they have some really bad personality qualities, in a way, you know, I still look at those people who have, you know, truly severely hurt me, and I'm like, they deserve peace too. Because also, if they were at peace, I guarantee you they wouldn't act the way that they acted, you know? Success to me, you know, these days, if you want me to be honest, also means creating a life that is meaningful, is purposeful, is authentic, and that isn't defined by any sort of metric. You know, money is metric because it's numbers, medals is metrical because it's like the number of trophies, right? Success really is, you know, what feels good on the inside, and accumulating more of what feels good on the inside, not what looks good on the outside. Something I also wish existed though, if I'm being completely honest, is something like what I create today. In the most unegotistical manner ever. You know, I was on social media trying to find like help or advice or something that like shifted my perspective or was like a light bulb moment for me. And it just wasn't there, you know? And so again, in the most unselfish, unegotistical, unsuperior manner, something I would also do is subscribe to a channel like mine, or, you know, continue to absorb content like mine that really opens up your sense of awareness and the aspects of what you're going through that maybe you're not aware of, or some you are aware of, that, you know, help you go through it and help you feel like, oh, she gets me, she resonates with me, because that's something else that would have really helped me, you know? But that's it for today's video, guys. With that being said, if it did resonate with you, drop a like, and if you haven't subscribed and you feel like this is something that you should do, you know, then do it. That's it for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.